If you've ever felt the moment change without a word being spoken, subscribe and stay. These are the stories where nothing dramatic happens until the body notices first. They sit on opposite ends of the couch at first. Not intentionally, not defensively, just naturally. The way two people do when they aren't sure yet what space they're allowed to take. The room is dim, lit only by the glow of the television and a single lamp in the corner. Outside, the city hums softly, distant and unconcerned. Inside, the air feels heavier than it should, warm still, expectant in a way neither of them comments on. She tucks her legs beneath her, pulling the throw blanket closer around her shoulders. He leans back, one arm draped along the back of the couch, posture relaxed in the way that comes from habit rather than intention. They're watching something forgettable. A movie neither of them will remember tomorrow. It isn't about the movie. It's about the quiet. She shifts first. Not closer, just sideways, adjusting her weight. Her knee brushes the side of his thigh. Barely. An accident. She stills immediately, breath hitching for half a second before she schools it back into normalcy. Sorry, she murmurs, eyes still on the screen. It's fine, he replies. His voice is calm, steady. He doesn't move away. Neither does she. The contact is small. Just fabric against fabric, warmth through denim. But it sends a quiet awareness through both of them. Like a low note struck somewhere deep and left vibrating. Minutes pass. The movie continues. The contact remains. She tells herself it's nothing. That if it mattered, he'd shift. That if it bothered him, he'd move his leg. He doesn't. She becomes acutely aware of the rise and fall of his breathing. Of how solid his leg feels beneath the side of her knee. Of how still he is, deliberately still. Her foot flexes unconsciously. The pressure changes. This time he exhales slowly. Not sharply. Not startled. Just aware. You comfortable? He asks quietly, eyes still forward. Yes, she answers immediately. Too quickly. He glances at her then. Not obvious, just a subtle turn of his head. The glow from the screen catches her profile. Relaxed mouth, focused eyes, a faint tension she hasn't noticed herself holding. Good, he says. And that's it. No querexchen. No retreat. The movie shifts into a quieter scene. Dialog. Music softens. She shifts again, this time intentionally, just an inch closer. Enough that her knee presses more firmly into his thigh. Her heart beats harder. She doesn't look at him. Neither does he. But his hand, resting on the back of the couch, tenses slightly, fingers flexing once before settling again. It's the only sign. Her breathing slows. She tells herself she can move if she wants to. She doesn't. Time stretches. The stillness becomes something else. Not empty, not awkward. Shared. Heavy with awareness. Her shoulder brushes his arm. Another accident. This one feels less like one. He adjusts then, not away but subtly closer. His arm angling so his forearm rests lightly behind her shoulders. Not touching her directly. Yet. Cold? He asks. She shakes her head. No. He nods. Okay. They sit like that, her shoulder close to his arm, her knee pressed into his leg. The space between them narrowing without either of them acknowledging it out loud. The movie fades into background noise. She notices the scent of him, clean, warm, faintly familiar in a way that surprises her. She's noticed it before but never like this. Never when she's been this close for this long. She shifts again, drawing one leg up fully, the side of her thigh now pressed along his. This time the contact is unmistakable. Her breath catches. He inhales slowly. You all right? He asks, voice lower now. Yes, she says. Are you? He considers that for a beat. Yes, he replies. His arm slides an inch closer, resting fully along the back of the couch behind her. The weight of it isn't on her, but it's there, enclosing the space. Claiming nothing. Offering something. She leans back without fully deciding to, her shoulder brushing against his chest now, just at the edge. He doesn't pull away. His body adjusts naturally, chest angling to accommodate her weight, as if it's the most normal thing in the world. They sit like that, bodies aligned, contact layered and deliberate. This is probably getting close, she says quietly, eyes still on the screen. Yes, he agrees. She waits. And? She asks softly. And you haven't moved away. he replies. Her lips part. Neither have you, she says. No, he agrees again. The honesty of it hangs between them. Her head tilts slightly, resting more fully against him now. The movement is small but decisive. His arm reacts before his thoughts do, sliding down just enough that his forearm rests lightly along the back of her shoulders. Not pulling her in, but there. She exhales slowly, a sound she didn't realize she was holding back. That's nice, she murmurs. It is, he says. They don't talk after that. They don't need to. The movie ends without either of them noticing. The screen goes dark. The room quiets further. Neither of them moves. She becomes aware of how close they are now. Her side pressed against his, her thigh fully aligned with his leg, her shoulder resting into the warmth of his chest. His arm behind her feels steady, protective without pressure. She shifts slightly, testing. His arm tightens, not to pull her closer but to keep contact. Her breath stutters. That okay? She asks quietly. Yes, he answers immediately. She turns her face slightly toward him. Not fully, just enough that her cheek brushes the fabric of his shirt. The contact is brief. Electric. She stills. His chest rises beneath her cheek. They're very still now. Do you want to move? He asks softly. She considers that honestly. No, she says. Do you? No. Her hand lifts slowly, hesitating for just a moment before resting against his forearm. Fingers curling lightly into his sleeve. The touch is gentle, deliberate. His arm responds instinctively, tightening just enough that his hand rests against her upper arm, now warm and solid. Not roaming, not possessive, just there. Her body relaxes into his fully, weight settling like it's found its place. This feels different, she murmurs. Yes, he agrees. Not rushed, she adds. Exactly, he says. She tilts her head back slightly, looking up at him now. Their faces are close. Close enough to see the details she usually misses. The calm in his eyes. The way his jaw tightens just slightly, restrained. She swallows. If I move any closer, she says softly, it won't be accidental. He meets her gaze steadily. Then don't move accidentally, he replies. Her heart pounds. She shifts anyway, slow, intentional, turning her body more toward him until she's almost facing him, knee pressing firmly between his legs now. He inhales sharply. Her hand slides higher on his arm, fingers splaying against his bicep. They're very close. So, she murmurs, voice barely above a whisper. This is happening. Yes, he says. But not fast, she adds. No, he agrees. His hand moves carefully, settling at her waist, thumb resting against the curve of her side. The contact is unmistakable. She exhales, leaning into him fully now, forehead nearly touching his. Neither of them kisses yet. They hover there, breath mingling, bodies aware and aligned. The moment stretched and heavy with intention. Nothing dramatic has happened. No declarations. No sudden moves. Just two people sitting on a couch, who didn't move when they could have. And now won't pretend they didn't notice. They stay like that longer than either of them expects. Close. Still. Balanced on the edge of something that hasn't tipped yet, but is undeniably leaning. Her knee remains between his, the contact no longer tentative. His hand at her waist is warm and steady, thumb resting in a place that feels intentional without being demanding. Their foreheads hover close, breaths mingling. The quiet thick with everything they're not saying. She's the one who moves first. Not forward. Down. She exhales and lets her head rest against his shoulder, cheek fitting just beneath his jaw like she's testing how it feels to belong there. The movement is slow enough that he could stop it if he wanted to. He doesn't. Instead, his arm tightens around her slightly, pulling her just close enough that her side presses fully into his chest. The contact is firm now, no longer accidental, no longer deniable. Okay, she murmurs almost to herself. He smiles faintly, the corner of his mouth brushing her hair. Okay, he echoes. They breathe together for a moment, the world narrowed to warmth and weight and the quiet hum of being held. She shifts again, this time curling her legs beneath her, turning her body so she fits against him more fully. His arm adjusts automatically, hands sliding along her back, fingers splayed, grounding. She notices. You keep doing that, she says softly. Doing what? Making space for me, she replies. He considers that. I want you comfortable. She tilts her head back slightly, looking up at him now. Their eyes meet close and clear. And if I'm comfortable like this? She asks. His gaze drops briefly, to the way her body curves into his, to the place where his hand rests at her waist, before returning to her face. Then I'm comfortable too, he says. That honesty settles something in her. She leans in again, closer this time, lips brushing his jaw. Not a kiss, not yet. Just contact. Just confirmation. His breath changes. He doesn't pull away. She smiles faintly, sensing it. The quiet stretches. The lamp casts a soft glow over them. The rest of the room dim and distant. The couch feels smaller now, not confining, just intimate. Like it was meant for this. Can I ask you something? She says. Always. Did you notice when my leg touched yours earlier? She asks. He chuckles softly. Yes. And you didn't move, she adds. No. Why? She asks, genuinely curious. He thinks about that for a moment. Because it felt right. And because I didn't want to interrupt what was happening. Her fingers curl into the fabric of his shirt at his chest. That's exactly how it felt to me, she admits. She shifts again, slowly lifting her head. Their faces aligning more fully now. They're inches apart, close enough to feel each other's breath, to see the subtle tension in each other's expressions. If I kiss you, she says quietly, it won't be a surprise. He nods. I know. And you'd stop me if you wanted to, she adds. Yes. She searches his eyes one last time, for hesitation, for doubt. She finds none. She closes the distance. The kiss is slow and deliberate. No rush, no urgency. Just lips meeting, parting slightly, settling into a rhythm that feels earned rather than impulsive. His hand at her waist firms, anchoring her. Her hand slides up to his neck, fingers warm against his skin. They don't deepen it right away. They let it breathe. When they part, their foreheads rest together, both of them exhaling. That felt, she trails off. Exactly like it should have, he finishes. She laughs softly. Yes. They don't rush into another kiss. Instead, she settles back against him again. This time deliberately pulling his arm tighter around her. His chin rests lightly against the top of her head. A quiet claim that feels protective rather than possessive. I like how this unfolded, she says after a moment. So do I. Slow, she adds. Intentional, he agrees. She shifts again, turning her face into his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Her fingers trace absent-minded patterns on his forearm. I usually overthink moments like this, she admits. And now, she says, I'm just here. He presses a gentle kiss to her hair. They sit like that for a long time, talking quietly, laughing softly, letting the night deepen around them. There's no rush to stand, no pressure to escalate, just closeness that feels chosen rather than seized. Eventually, she yawns. He smiles. Tired. A little, she says. Comfortable. He shifts carefully, adjusting so she can rest more easily against him. She sighs contentedly, eyes closing for a moment. If I fall asleep, she murmurs, don't move. I won't, he says. And if you need to, she adds, half smiling, wake me. I will. She settles fully now, breathing evening out, body trusting his without question. His arm remains around her, steady and warm, hand resting at her side like it's always belonged there. He looks down at her, feeling something settle deep in his chest. Not urgency, not desire alone. Something quieter, more certain. Nothing dramatic has happened. They didn't plan this. They didn't rush it. They didn't pretend it was accidental. They simply didn't move when it mattered.